the majority may not be on board with these demonic ideals as much as the media and the celebrities would like you to believe. Hello, friends, and welcome. So, the conversation that I would like to have today is one that I don't have very often. Well, not about this particular specimen. I've had it about multiple of these specimens, but not this one in particular. So, in this episode, we are talking about Dylan Mulvaney. Now, if you're unfamiliar with who Dylan Mulvaney is, you must be living out of space somewhere, exactly where he lives, out of space. So, Dylan Mulvaney is a man who decided to film himself becoming a so-called woman. And so he even talked about tampons, which you don't know how you can talk about tampons when you have no use for them. I will digress. So Dylan Mulvaney, Coors Light controversy, didn't really cover it here, but everybody knows about that controversy. So this is who we're going to talk a little bit about today. So it turns out that Dylan Mulvaney may not be as popular as he would like you to believe, or the mainstream media would like you to believe, or the media outlets would like you to believe. Yeah, he may not be that popular. So he had an event, and well, they were pretty much crickets, not a lot of attendance. So we're going to talk about this a little, and yeah, let's do it.
We just had a salon for you. You were the guest of honor.
Thank you. What is a salon?
A salon is a dinner or lunch event where everybody sits around. No phones allowed.
No phones.
No side conversations.
No side.
And we go around
And we had to ask permission to go to the bathroom.
I don't care for that typically, but this one time I did let you go.
And we had a lot of came up.
Rosie O'Donnell was here.
Oh.
Mary Beth Young.
Margaret Cho. Sia. It was
Sia sang.
that Sia did sing.
What about that?
And honestly, one of my favorite days ever. So thank you. I love y'all.
So, introductions to Dylan. So, let's get to know Dylan Mulvaney just a little bit. So, he recently did an interview with Forbes magazine. And I thought it was kind of interesting. He answered some questions in reference to his background, where he's been, where he is going to go, and who he's going to bring along with him for the ride. And so we're going to get to know him a little bit. And then we're going to get into his business in reference to his money and how is it that nobody showed up to his event?
Followers. Who are the people who are really paying attention to you, watched all your videos, and how are you able to connect with those fans?
I think of them as we've got like the teenage girls, their moms, and their grandmothers. I really try to keep my content accessible to everyone. And, whether somebody's trans or not, I just hope that they can watch my videos and feel inspired to unlock a new part of their selves and feel confident and funny and in finding the funny in hard situations.
Now, I think for me and for a lot of people, because you are so social media forward and you're so out there, a lot of people kind of view you as the spokesperson for the trans community. Did you set out to do that when you started these videos?
Oh, no. I never wanted or intended to be a spokesperson for the community. And I think I just ask for grace as I'm learning so many things and navigating this, not only transness, but also this newfound success. It's happened really fast. And I think that's what's so crazy about social media is I think it kind of launches people at a rate that not a lot of other mainstream media does or can. And I really am now looking to sort of not take a back seat. I want to stay really active in my advocacy work, but I want to decide when, where, and how I'm going to show up as an activist.
This man is a huge has a huge following on TikTok. I believe it's like 11 million so-called people that follow this man. So that's a huge number. And I really do wonder if there are robots on these platforms that they put behind these people to show people that, oh, this person is very popular, this person has a lot of following, in order to make you think that this person is bigger than they actually are, and that this person has so much influence when they really don't. And so again, it shows up when you're live on the ground. If you have 11 million followers, then you should be able to have a good amount of people in a room. And this person says that his biggest fans are women, moms, girls, and grandmas. So these are the people, the women, the females that you are intently replacing in ads, in sponsorships, because I believe what is it? I think it was Nike swimwear or Nike clothing or Nike women's clothing or something like that put endorsement behind this guy, and he was modeling women's clothing. So in essence, that tells me if his audience is women, girls, and grandmas, you are initially signing up for your replacement. If you're looking for kicks and giggles and laughter, this ain't the way to do it, because you're promoting something that is literally replacing you.
That I love to bring up all the time is that the LGBTQ plus community has nearly $4 trillion in global purchasing power.
We've got the purchasing.
Exactly. Yet brands are still shying away from LGBTQ plus representation. What would you say to brands that are, despite this fact?
Thank you. We need more of you, and we need you now.
And what would you say to the ones that are shying away and don't want anything to do with the representation?
I would say, well, that's a disappointment, because we're here and we're not going anywhere. And I also think that there are brands that are interested in working with someone like me, but maybe don't know how to, or nervous to get involved or ask the wrong thing. Yeah. And I say, let's figure it out together. Let's have these hard conversations, because if we don't, then something beautiful can't come from it.
And going along with that, when these negative experience happens or there's anti-trans hate in the country and the world, how do you kind of take back your own brand and bring authenticity to what you're posting?
These past few months have been really interesting, because I didn't know brand deals even existed when I started out online. And in a way, I'm grateful, because it made me remember why I started in the first place, which was to make people laugh and to connect and build an audience and perform. And I think that that's what I always want to come back to is why did I start this in the first place?
That makes a lot of sense.
Whoopsies. I think his male voice came out. Whoopsies. Didn't mean to sound like a dude.
Oh, so he is so right about purchasing power. That is why we need to hone in on how we spend our money, because if a small group like that has so much purchasing power, imagine what we, the majority, really have purchasing power. And this was really truly proven with him, by the way, with this Bud Light fiasco. Well, he was given the opportunity to be the voice of Bud Light. And as y'all know, and y'all already know the story, but I'm going to just put it in here for context, is that boycott happened to Bud Light because of this nonsense. And so we, the majority, our purchasing power was put to it. And Bud Light is nearly out of business because we, the people, decided we were not going to put up with this nonsense of women replacement. And now you want them to who wants to be drinking their beer watching a man in dress up? Nobody does. Nobody, no red-blooded American male wants to see that. And we, the women, sure as hell don't want to see that. So yeah, Bud Light had a coming to Jesus moment because they wanted to go woke and display this nonsense. So we actually have more purchasing power than you, the minority.
My favorite videos of you was last year you sat down with President Joe Biden. How was that?
Grandpa Joe. No, that was a crazy experience because I would have never expected to do anything like that. I just wanted to be in the background in a Broadway musical, and then to be sitting there with Joe, our president, was really amazing. But I think, I maybe wasn't fully ready to do something that major for the community yet.
Yeah.
But I now know a lot of people who are capable of that, and I'm still proud of it.
I mean, one of the things you said that I actually want to read back to you because it stood out to me so much is you said to him, Republicans have turned trans and non-binary people into this thing to blame society's downfall on. And I thought that was so fascinating. And it was probably the first time a lot of people in the world were hearing it.
It's people want to paint someone like me to be a monster, but it's like, hello, I'm just Dylan, and I'm a person that wants love and wants family and success and friendships. And I think when someone like me or our identities get politicized, there's no real productivity that can come from that because we're not being seen as a human. We're being seen as this
The
thing.
thing is, I don't believe anybody wants to paint Dylan Mulvaney or transgenders as monsters, but I do believe that these people have mental illnesses and they need to be treated accordingly. And being out here in the society where you are forcing this upon the majority of the country, the people, the world, it's not a good look to say if we don't accept this, then we are, hateful or xenophobe or transphobe or homophobe or whatever phobia there is. The thing is, this thing is being used politically. Obviously, you went and sat with Joe Biden, who, by the way, is all for this. He wasn't, a couple of years ago, but now he's all in because he is now that far gone. He's that far left. And, trying to push this on us through the president of the United States. This is the first time I've actually called Joe Biden the president of the United States. Yeah, we're gonna not do that. To sit down with old Grandpa Joe and have this influence to try to show America, oh yeah, Joe Biden is on board with this, and so therefore you need to be too. I think it's really a sad thing in a society where this person is sitting down with the so-called president of the United States and pushing this nonsense about cutting off children's parts and cutting off your parts and turning into this, this masquerade of nonsense. It's, and they're telling the society, you need to get along with this, and we don't. So again, we don't think of you as any kind of monster, but what we do think of you as a mental person who needs to be in a mental ward to have mental help. That's what we think of you. And yes, I believe that you are bringing down the society, because if we look at biblical works and we see what happened back in the day with Sodom and Gomorrah, destruction because of these things. And we saw what happened with Noah and those people, destruction because of these things. So yeah, if history has taught us anything, it's taught us that these kinds of acts, these kinds of things, these kinds of embracingness is going to be the downfall of the society. So yes, I do blame you for that. But it is written that these things will happen, so you're just playing your role in the society. But for us as people on the other side of this, we have to stand up and speak against these things, because one day we will have to answer, how did you do when these things were being pushed down people's throats? Did you stand up and speak the truth about what this is? I'm going to have to stand up and say, yes, Lord, I did speak up and spoke about these things in this very here video right there. So yes, you are sort of a menace to the society when it comes to these things. And we can't be silent about it. We have to speak up, and they can call it hate speech. They can call it xenophobe, transphobic, whatever it is. But as just like you have the ability to speak your truth and your piece and all of that, we also have the ability to speak the truth and all